Hi everyone, I'm Miss Alicia, an English teacher at Little But 90. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 simple steps to tackle your sections B and C in your English Paper 2, Booklet A. These are your vocabulary segments. If you have been enjoying our content, do remember to like and subscribe. Before we get started, understand that scoring for these vocabulary segments will always require a decent vocabulary bank. The more words you know, the more you'll be able to make sense of the words and the passages. This will allow you to make better guesses at the answers. Of course, it'll be impossible for you to know every single word that comes out in the examinations. So, what's an answering technique that will allow you to make use of your growing vocabulary bank as well as make intelligent guesses to arrive at the most accurate answer? Let's find out today! Step 1. You need to read the entire sentence or passage for context. I'm sure you've heard this countless times before. Context, context, context. But what even is context? Let's look at a very simple example. The warm weather made me want to jump into the pool. And we were given a warm welcome when we arrived. We can see that from the context, which refers to the situational clues, the word warm is used differently. The first describes the weather, while the latter describes a manner. For the first sentence, hot is a possible word to replace warm. You will end up with the sentence, the hot weather made me want to jump into the pool, which makes perfect sense. However, can the word warm be replaced by the word hot to become hot welcome? Absolutely not. What we have just seen is how the context can affect whether a word can or cannot be used. This is why, when answering vocabulary questions, the context is always important to take note of. Sure, some words might be completely foreign to you or have various meanings. However, you can figure out what is going on using the contextual clues. Then you can guess at the meanings of the unfamiliar or confusing words. Thus, the sentences and passages will make more sense to you. Step 2. Choose the most likely answer. Now that you have a better idea of what's going on, it's time to choose the correct answer. One tip that I always give my students is to eliminate the 2 least likely answers first. Often, multiple choice answers boil down to the 2 most likely answers. This means that the other 2 are simply distractors and can be ignored. Then, between the 2 remaining options, we will choose the most likely one. Let's look at the following example. First, we eliminate the unlikely options. Option 3, slumped, is definitely wrong. Slumping over something is to collapse over something because you are too weak to stand. It seems unlikely that the bully would be that weak. Option 4, appeared, is also an unlikely answer because we do not often use the phrase appeared over. Instead, we might say appeared on. Next, we choose the most likely option. Option 1, bent, could be a possible answer as the bully bends over John. However, it does sound a little strange, and the context does not adequately lend itself to this answer. When you say that someone is bent over, you're probably imagining a little old man with a hunchback bent over himself. Not a very threatening picture, and definitely not suitable for a bully. In contrast, option 2, loomed, is the most likely answer. Loomed over is to appear as a large, often frightening shape or object. The bully is probably frightening to John. Thus, for this question, option 2 will be our best guess. Step 3. Check by rereading. Finally, it's time to check your work. Just like how you check your math and science papers, language papers must be checked too. The key question you need to ask yourself when attempting vocabulary questions is, does this word fit this particular context? Does the word fit well with the rest of the sentence? So, looking at the above question, does it make sense for the bully to loom over John? Do the contextual clues tell us that the bully was much bigger size than John and frightening to him? Looking at our contextual clues, tall and burly, it seems like our answer loomed over is more than appropriate. John is definitely afraid and loomed over must be the correct answer. Let's look at the following example. First, we read the paragraph for context. The word precise is describing a cut made in the bark of a rubber tree. It means to be exact, clear and correct. Next, we eliminate the two most unlikely options. Option 1, clear, is definitely wrong. Some students may think of the adjective clear-cut, which means easy to understand or to be certain about. However, we do not usually say the cut has to be clear. Option 3, definite, is also not a possible answer, as we do not say that the cut has to be definite. Next, we choose the most likely option. Option 4, obvious, is an unlikely answer. The word precise does not have any relation to the word obvious at all, which means easy to notice. The following contextual clues do not support the usage of the word obvious as well. Therefore, the answer would be option 2, exact. Exact means to be completely correct on every detail. It matches almost perfectly to what the word precise means, and we can say the cut has to be exact. In terms of meaning and sentence structure, the word exact fits perfectly. Thus for this question, option 2 will be our best guess. Moving on to step 3, let's check our answer by rereading. Does the context support the use of the word exact? Well, looking at the contextual clues, it seems like our answer exact is more than appropriate. The cut must be made paying attention to details such as the depth of the cut. The depth must be correct in order for the latex to flow. Therefore, the answer must be option 2. This brings us to the end of today's video on how best to answer the vocabulary questions. These steps can be applied to any situation where you need to guess words or their meanings to arrive at the answer. Do you realize that the more words you know, the more you'll be able to accurately guess the meanings of the unfamiliar or confusing words and their context? Expanding your vocabulary is essential to mastering the language. In the meantime, these tips will certainly help you to answer the questions to a higher degree of accuracy, even as you are still in the process of expanding your vocabulary bank. Keep going! Till the next post, have a good time learning English.